Welcome to EYE on Sci-Fi podcast. Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 229 of EYE on Sci-Fi podcast, the podcast where we share with you terrific indie, science fiction, and fantasy, online short films, web series, and other closely related media. We also, on occasion, have conversations with the talented and interesting creators who are producing outstanding indie speculative work. Thank you for joining me. This episode, I'm sharing with you a magnificent and chilling sci-fi short film entitled Laika. Laika is in part based on a real historical event. During the space race in 1957, Russia launched a dog into space named Laika. And Laika is the first animal to be launched into space and around Earth orbit. So this film is named in part as a tribute to that mission. Now, in Laika, as it opens, we see that the International Space Station has been severely damaged. So the short film begins with a bang. The sole surviving astronaut is actually a Russian cosmonaut. And we see that the escape pod is struggling to escape the debris of the International Space Station and make a return to Earth. As ground control is struggling to try to save the cosmonaut's life, the cosmonaut begins to panic. However, as the capsule begins its descent into Earth orbit, there is an encounter that the cosmonaut has with an ancient spacecraft. And I can't reveal more about what happens in the short film, but suffice to say that it is quite extraordinary. Laika, the short film, was written and directed by Adam Fair, and let me just say, visually, it is astonishing. Laika is one of those sci-fi short films that truly deserves the adjective cinematic. From the space station being destroyed to the capsule in free fall, the visual effects look as though they used the same production team as for films like Gravity. It looks that fantastic. But even more so, it is a tribute to the animals that were used during the early days of the space race to help pave the way for humanity's exploration to the stars. Again, Laika is a remarkable short film visually, but also in subject matter. And I encourage you all to check out the link that I'm going to include in the show notes of this episode, not only to the short film itself, but also to the real historical Laika that was launched into space by the Russian space program. Also included in the show notes of this episode is our link tree. And with that link tree, you will be able to visit all of the other terrific independent science fiction and fantasy online short films, web series, and other closely related media that we have curated on our site, theseventhmatrix.com. I also encourage you to sign up for our free daily newsletter. For signing up for this newsletter, you will receive a token of our appreciation for supporting us in that way. And then finally, I also need to ask you all to please leave us a review and rating wherever you get your podcasts, because that really does help others find us. And we appreciate all of this a great deal. Okay, that's it for this episode, everyone. Thank you for joining me. And until next time, remember to take a break, escape the mundane, and enter the fantastic. Take care.